Welcome to this video of AP Computer Science A. In this video, we're going to talk about classes. So a class is a blueprint for creating objects. In each class, you define states and behaviors, and they're also called attributes and methods. And you also have objects, which are instances of classes. For example, here you have a class named dog, and dogs will have attributes like color, age, and gender, and they'll also will share the same behavior like bark. And as an example of objects, here are two objects that are instances of the class dog. We have here Bob, which has attributes color black, age 2, and a gender male, and it barks. And we also have John, which is white, is 3 years old, and a female, and it also barks. Here is an example of how you properly define a class. Here you have dog, and on the top you define their attributes, and usually in front of each attribute you add the keyword private in front. This ensures that these variables will not be manipulated easily by the instances, but you'll need some sort of safety contract to access or manipulate these attributes. And now you also have here a constructor that you use to construct each instance. So we've just shown that you have a dog class, and now to actually make instances of each class, you will have to here define here your parameters and also assigning them to each attribute here. So but this is referring to the attributes here, and without this, this variable is referring to the local variables here, so the parameters. And also here you have methods that are usually defined public instead of private, and this is because methods or behaviors usually are shared across all instances. So we want each instance to share the same behavior, so each dog can bark. And here is how you define an object. You first define what type it is. An object is of type of its class. So here you can see that the object Bob is of type dog. And then you assign it an object by using the keyword new and passing the parameters here to create a new object. And if you make Bob bark, then it will print wolf. And we also have accessors and mutators. They're also methods, and you can see here, these are the safety contracts that we were talking about earlier, where if you want to gain the value of these attributes or manipulate the values, you have to do it from these methods, and you can add some sort of restrictions here. For example, here you can add a conditional statement saying that age cannot be less than 0. And so by doing this, you're ensuring that each instance's attributes are protected and can only be manipulated through here, the accessors and mutators method. They're also called get and set methods. And here you can see that after we created a new object, Bob, if you get its age, it will be 5, the one that we passed. But after you set the age to 6 and you get Bob's age again, it will be 6 instead of 5, as it is already manipulated. We also have a static variable. They're defined by using the keyword static, and they're class variables, and not like the normal attributes that we talked about earlier that are different for each instance. Class variable is the same across all instances of the class. And if it is changed, then it changes for all the instance And let's look at some practice questions. Here, please write all the set and get methods, so the accessors and the mutators for this student class. And assuming that all set and get methods are implemented correctly, what will be the output after you run this main method? So here we have created two objects, S1 and S2, and are they equal? Are their GPA equal? And now we have the same class, but instead here GPA is set to static variable. And what will be the result of this? And here the answers are here. These are all four set and get methods for the first question. And for this question, the output will be false because S1 and S2 have different GPA. One has 100 and one has 99.9. But for the next part, since GPA is set to static, after you've constructed S2 right here, 99.9, you're changing GPA for all instances, not just for S2, but also for S1. You're changing the GPA from 100.0 to 99.9. So now all instances, which are S1 and S2, share the same GPA. And if you print them, it will be true because both S1 and S2's GPA are 99.9. And that is it for this video. If you want more IP, AP, or IB resources, please visit bikinginitiative.com. If you have any questions, please join our AP CSA group chat on WhatsApp and ask our tutors. Thank you.